Good afternoon, Year 4. Obviously, this afternoon you also have PE with Mr. Meechin. Like I said earlier, don't forget to check that video out, have lots of fun, and enjoy the cha-cha plank slide challenger. Please send me in a video if you do it. I'm really interested to see how long you can last holding that plank and see if you can get your form right and whatnot. I think my plank started like this, but the more and more tired I got, my bum was sticking up in the air towards the ceiling, and I was just trying to actually stay up without flopping to the floor. So see how long you can do your plank for. This afternoon we also have history. We're going to understand the influence of Anglo-Saxon kings. You're going to be writing just a short persuasive letter, just a couple of short paragraphs. Think about these questions to start us off though. Why did the Vikings come to Britain? Why did the Anglo-Saxons come to Britain? And when did the Maya civilization start and end? You may need to quickly research that bottom one just to refresh your mind. It's really important to know those dates. Moving past that, they fought against one another to rule over Britain. And this is the Vikings and the Anglo-Saxons, of course. At certain times, the Vikings dominated, and at others, the Anglo-Saxons dominated. As you can see on this map here, there were lots of different kingdoms, and whilst the kingdoms changed depending on who was victorious in the battles, this is generally what it looked like. We have Northumbria and Mercia, East Anglia, Essex, Kent, Sussex, Wessex, and then British held territory on the west there. So the kings of the Anglo-Saxon Britain each ruled their own kingdom. The kings constantly fought to gain control and defend their land as well. And the Vikings took over all of the kingdoms except for Wessex, who was ruled by King Alfred the Great by AD 878. So the kings versus the Vikings. One of the best known Anglo-Saxon kings is King Alfred the Great. He is the only British monarch to have the title Great in his name. But what made him great? He was the first Anglo-Saxon king to defeat the Vikings in battle and buy the people of Britain some peace from them. Alfred became king in AD 871. He reigned until his death in AD 899. So in AD 878, the Vikings invaded Wessex and forced King Alfred into hiding. However, Alfred was not prepared to give up. So later in that year, King Alfred defeated the Vikings at the Battle of Eddington. Lots of famous battles. We've already looked at the Lindisfarne, and here's another one. So the Battle of Eddington was reported as a fierce and bloody event, and King Alfred was reported to charge into battle like a wild boar, very heroic. Danelaw. King Alfred defeated them, but knew he wouldn't be able to take over the whole of Britain. They'd lost so much, so many different kingdoms. In AD 886, he made a deal with the king of the time and established a peace treaty which gave the Vikings control over the northern parts and eastern parts of England, an area which later became known as Danelaw. And King Alfred got to keep the rest. King Atholstan. After the death of King Alfred the Great, his son Edward the Elder took the throne. And when he died, his son Atholstan, which is King Alfred's grandson, he became king. And he's regarded as the first king of all Britain. And he is remembered as a great leader. Atholstan was king from AD 1924 to 1939. During his reign, he drove the Vikings back more and more and was able to claim control over a greater area of land. At the Battle of Brunanburh in AD 1937, Atholstan fought with his Viking and Welsh allies to stop an invasion by the Scottish king. He's known for forming good relationships with leaders from other countries. And he married his 4 sisters to important rulers abroad, which helped strengthen Britain's position overseas. Because they were married into their families, they have strong alliances, so they fight together and protect each other. He also had many strong links with religious leaders and founded many churches, which was created. So, do you think Athelstan was as great as King Alfred, even though he didn't get labelled as a great king? Think about the actions and achievements of King Alfred and of King Athelstan. What important or influential things did the two kings do? And why are they such important historical figures? You may need to do a little bit of research onto this. If you want to, as part of your persuasive letter, you can do a couple of sentences and then draw a picture to go along with it. I know it's difficult, you're doing a lot of writing, so be creative with it. Your persuasive letter can be typed, that's absolutely fine. But can you tell me which king was better and why? Okay? Which king was better and why? I've given you some sentence starters and some scaffolds if you want it to be all written. If you want to do a couple of pictures with it, pushing the other armies back, making alliances like King Athelstan did, it's entirely up to you. Here's a bit of a template for a persuasive letter, and here are just, or actually, that's a bit more of a template, and here you've got your sentence starters. Okay, so use that, use pictures if you want to, do some typing if you want to, that's absolutely fine. You've had lots of writing in English. Enjoy it. I want you to learn about the kings more so than doing lots and lots of writing. Okay, so understand why they were great and tell me which one was better. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your PE challenges. Bye-bye.